Hey, what's up, Lighting World? Matt, Nate, I'm excited, man. Today's a good day. We got a 60 light install on the books. We've been crushing it here. Springtime busy. How about you guys, man? What's good? It's been a week.
Let's go. For me, I just finished up my training last week, live training. 10 guys came in, 9 guys came in. The 10th guy got fired, so he didn't come. But my goodness, was it so badass. We did a live demo with like a real life client. They all came. The client was blown away, super pumped. So I got that on the books. Going to talk to him today. The guys learned a lot. It's been badass. And then I guess I share another win. I know we're going to talk about it, but I was helping a new guy in the industry, got a quote from another brand, and for the first time I've ever seen, Lifetime Lighting, better product, and it was cheaper.
So that is the topic of the call. How are tariffs going to affect your business? We'll roll right into that. But welcome, buddy. You always got a door chime in the background. That drives me nuts.
Yeah, I'm sure the listeners love that.
I have a door chime? Are you sure it's not my wonderful?
Someone opens the door, it makes noise somewhere back there.
Garage entry door opened.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's my alarm system. Lets me know when I got hooligans running around trying to get into and break into my American-made fucking lights I have here.
Oh, well, it's super annoying. All right.
Well, I bet it is.
I don't know if I ever told you that, but trust me, you have it on all your houses. I think
well, actually, what it really secretly says, it doesn't say garage door open. I hear, Nate, your wife has just walked through the garage door. Be prepared. That's what I hear.
In the real purpose.
He's playing hide and seek, listening to everywhere Chris is hiding. Like, she's in the garage. I'm going to run out the kitchen.
That's the real purpose. Now the secret's out.
Oh, man.
So, Nate, I got with Matt, and you have a neat perspective for all these tariffs, right? Like everyone's kind of like not sure what to do. There's a lot of uncertainty. I see people posting like, holy smokes, it's going to affect my business. What are we going to do? We're going to have to raise prices, blah, 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 blah. So I came up with a series of questions we want to ask you. We want to grill you. We want to ask.
Yeah, I hope you're ready, Nate. We're going to take you out. Claim America made. I know how you
You've ordered from China. You've messed with China before. You brought stuff to America. So I think you kind of have a perspective on what it takes to be an American manufacturer, and also just with Unique, you guys bought millions of fixtures from China. So yeah, let's get into it. Nate, you ready to talk tariffs?
I am.
All right.
So do you want me to go? I can give you a perspective, and then you can ask me questions or whatever. So
I got a lot of questions.
Well,
no, Nate. No, we're grilling you. You're the manufacturer. You want to sell lights. I'm a lighting contractor. I want to know if you're legit.
Well, I don't even know how I even answer a question if I'm legit or not.
All right. Well, let me first.
That usually resolves around 4 cocktails and a cigar. So, but yeah, so. Legit.
No, rewind. So I'm gonna ask you the question. Then if I miss something, go ahead and expand on that. But I know one question that I get a lot, and I think I know how to answer it properly, but it's still a common question. We say your lights, Lifetime Lighting Systems, which Matt and I are not owners of or any part of, right? And it's just our mentor and our supplier who've been using lights for a long time. But other folks will say, well, it's impossible, that you're American made. There's always raw materials. There's always something that comes from China, which we know is true, right? But what is the definition between someone who says American made, American symboled, half American, half China? What are the raw materials that you get from China, and are those going to be affected in this whole tariff situation? Ready, go.
Okay, here we go. So to promote and label your product as American made, it's got to be 95% made in America, and that includes raw goods. So first of all, let me tell you what I do buy from China. So I buy my lamps from China because I believe that, unless you're making a TV and light bulbs, let's let the Chinamen make those things. It's really very difficult to make TVs and light bulbs in China. So my light bulbs are made in China. right? And that is fundamentally 100% it, except possibly for a number 10 screw that you hang my transformer on, because I don't know if they make number 10 screws in America. I typically can't even find the manufacturer of origin. So number 10 screw and my light bulbs, and that's it. So my product fixtures are 100% made in America. Now, how you do this is you can always find out the source of the origin of the product, right? There's a lot of product that comes from South Korea and different, Taiwan or Thailand and different things, right? So all of my product is sourced in America. The steel, the stainless, the copper, the brass, right? When I do composite fixtures, the thing that makes the composite material. So it's 100%, right? American made. My wire, I could not find an American made wire manufacturer to make my wire, because you can get American made wire. People typically don't. They buy it from China because obviously everything from China is cheaper in price and cheaper in quality. It goes hand in hand, cheap, cheap, cheap. But so my wire is sourced, made for me, is proprietary, and not made in China. Just because of the complexity of my wires. You guys know it's brown and tan. I could not get one American made manufacturer that could do a dual color for me because of the complexity of having dual color on the wire. So I outsourced my wire to Thailand or Taiwan. Light bulbs are China. Other than that, it's all American made, man. It's awesome.
Would you say there's some suppliers out there that say American made, but really their molds or whatever is from China? They outsource it like they don't even know it.
Happens all the time. So when I made the move 3.5 years ago to move from China, right? Because one, you could see the writing on the wall when Trump came in. One of the first things he did, he imposed a 35% tariff on China. Normally it was 6%, so it gave a 41% increase. You could see the writing on the wall with his next term coming in, that it was just going to go. I mean, it was going to go vertical fast, and as we all know, it's up to 140% now. So I saw the writing on the wall 3.5 years ago. So not only did it for obviously an economic reason, to be right, as the more expensive it gets in China, the more competitive I am. But I also did it because I just don't care. I mean, I wear a hat every day that says "fuck China," and I really don't care if I offend somebody on this podcast. I don't hate the Chinese people. I have lots of China friends, lots. Right, I dealt with China for 25 years, almost 30 years. They are an evil, right, corporate people. They knock you off. They steal your patents. I spent millions of dollars defending and having to hire China lawyers to go defend my patents in China and get China patent because they just were stealing everything. So I made the decision 3.5 years ago because I'm tired of them stealing all the IP. So, and here in the United States, I can control that. And I can tell you this, when I used to make the molds in China, I would pay X amount for a mold, which was a lot cheaper than the US, but they would typically make 2 molds. And pretty soon there's a guy down the street knocking off my product. So that's China for you. So I'm super happy that
you talk about American made. I got a few questions. We get, when we talk about this, we hear in the Facebook group, right? Like bullshit, right? So you're saying let's break it down from, okay, the design starts with you, then you get a CAD drawing. You hire the CAD drawing overseas. How do you do the CAD drawing, or is that a local guy?
Nope. There's nothing done overseas. Everything's done locally. Everything's done in America.
The mold has got to be right.
Nope,
mold
made.
Overseas.
Nope, mold made 100% made here. American made aluminum for my molds. Like I said, nothing from China. When these guys are in the Facebook group, obviously they're either, I don't know what they are, right? They it's not to say that there aren't most companies, maybe they promote that they're American made and have the fucking raw goods come from China. It's probably a true story. So maybe they make a bold statement like that because they're ignorant of my company. Can't tell you, but
Sure.
And it's indicative. But certainly 100%, none of that is true, right? The designs, the CAD guy, the molds, the prototypes, the 3Ds, everything is American made, bred, born, designed, every single thing. And I don't know, I may be the only company that does that, right? Which is why I wear on my side of my hat, fuck China. I'm proud to be an American. I'm proud to make this shit in America. And I'm tired of fucking, supporting our enemy. And I did it for a long time. I probably spent $100 million, $200 million making China shit, man. I'm guilty. But at some point, you just can't support those guys.
So,
so you
I think
spent millions, right?
Hundreds
Millions
of
bringing it.
millions.
I mean, no, I mean
Oh no.
coming back to America for lifetime lighting.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
shit!
definitely hundreds of millions of dollars
Come
in.
on, Nate. You're on a
So,
podcast, bud.
um,
Kick him out.
so
He's
definitely
out of
hundreds of
here.
millions of dollars in. Okay, there we go. Forgot to turn my phone on mute. But yeah, no, I spent millions of dollars bringing manufacturing back into the United States, and let me tell you, it wasn't easy. I mean, going to find mold makers, because man, when you brought up the molds, I don't even. There's probably less than 10 mold makers in the United States. I mean, there are few. What they do is you go to a broker, they give you drawings, and you don't even know this. Then they outsourced it to China, right? And I found all this out because last thing I want to do is make another mold in China, and they make two molds, and then I'm competing with myself because they're knocking me off. It happened every day at my last company. So yeah, it was difficult finding the mold maker. It was difficult finding the machine shops. It was difficult finding everybody that can do everything. And the reason for it is, most people think you go to China to save labor, and that's just not true. Labor is fucking labor. Half the shit's done by machines. You go, and then time you put tariffs and insurance and freight on it and fucked up product and 15-20%, you got to just throw out the window, right? You do it because you're tired of being sued in the United States. EPA regulations, attorneys, right? You got to have health insurance. You got to have all these things. It's difficult to manufacture in the United States.
question.
So, but anyway.
So I would almost tell the audience, right? Like if you have a supplier you're buying from and you get an email saying that price increases are coming, well, that's like a telltale sign, right? You're buying China lights. Nate, you haven't increased your prices at all yet, right? And
no, I see no reason to increase my prices. I mean, right? Again, if my product, well, this would be a good telling tale on me then, Shane. If I was buying raw goods from China, then yeah, I would be having drastic price increases on my product. Everything is American sourced. So I see zero, right? I don't foresee the future of raising any prices. Now, if something changed economically and we got into 100% inflation and then my American made raw goods doubled in price, well, of course, then I have to act accordingly. That's not my plan, right? And so everybody knows my plan. I mean, when I owned Unique Lighting, I mean, my overhead was out of sight. I mean, fuck me. I had 17 full-time sales guys, cost me $3.2 million a year just for sales guys, 100 and some people under my roof in Escondido, between people that made the product, assemblies, office staff, floor manager, product manager, facilitators, all this shit. Overhead's out of sight. I'm keeping my overhead extremely low. My plan is to really cultivate lighting assassins and lighting guys. As you guys know the plan, we want to get 50, 100 guys, right? And obviously we'll sell to anybody, but we want to get guys that become all-time, multimillionaires in outdoor lighting, and they buy 5,000-10,000 lights a year. I keep my overhead down, which then keeps my product costs down. So we're able to, my main focus is keep overhead extremely, extremely, extremely low, right? No outside sales guys, none of these forces, right? And then I just have a team of guys that build my fixtures. So, and we're already preparing for that. We're super organized. So, but yeah, so the key is keep the overhead low, keep the margins low, and then I can sell great American made product at a super competitive price.
I would say.
Oh.
I say overnight. I mean, you're almost like the least expensive on the market, which is just mind blowing to say something American made is actually cheaper now than China made. So fascinating to just see in here. What were you going to say, Cap?
I was going to say it even goes beyond that too, right? I mean, not only is it American made, now we've always been competitive. Now it's cheaper than a lot of the lower. I mean, all supply house lights is just cheaper than them. We just saw some of the quotes come out, but it's a manufacturer who Nate still designs jobs. Nate still installs lights. I don't think there's one single manufacturer, true manufacturer, that can say that they still install lights, that they still do jobs. Any if there is, doesn't matter, right? Nate is on the phone. You ask any contractor, any lighting guy who's trying to be one of the lighting assassins, one of the 50 guys. Nate, as the manufacturer, will jump on and totally walk you through jobs, walk you through designs, and help you, hold your hand. I know he did it for me when I started. It still does from time to time. So, like even that, and he's doing it he's doing it on hope and a dream. Really, he's not making money right now. There's no way, with all the time and money he spends on the guys in the field that he's helping. So I mean, just guys, we want 50 to 100, and that's why. Nate, stop clicking that thing. My goodness, that's loud.
So that is a great point. And not only we went from competitive, I say we, right? Not only you went from being competitive to now being the least expensive, you're also the best and the most helpful. There's no question. No one's more helpful. How many lights, if you just kind of took all the manufacturers, supply houses, just everyone in the audience that might be buying a light right now, how many would you say out there are like yourself, Nate, where they truly are American made?
Well, there's probably only, I mean, maybe 3 companies, maybe, right? I mean, very, 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 very small number, right? I mean,
So
there are American-made companies that do make product in Mexico, which is better than China, of course, right? But very, very, very few companies that are truly American-made. So I don't know, less than 3, probably 3 or under.
wow, which has to be like 0.1% of the lights that are even in existence out there. Maybe even
I would say it's 1/10 of 1%. Extremely, extremely low number. Yeah.
rarefied air. Well, with that kind of makes me think of the next question I've got written down. So I mean, overnight, right? If you're the best priced company, the best, most innovative lights, and the most helpful, well, you would think over the next 90 days, like how could you possibly handle, the amount of volume who may want to order from you? What are you doing to prepare for that?
So I guess I've been preparing for it for years. So my existing building in San Marcos, the building next to me came available. So I grabbed it a couple, 3 years ago. So I've got over, doubled my size, say, give or take 10,000 square feet. I don't, typically, and that's a big, big, big building. I really only need 5,000 square feet, but, I've got 10 now. So I've got a manufacturing building and then my office building with tons of storage and stuff for pallets and raw material. So I've got the space now, and in that space that we have built, we've got 10, specific workstations that we can add people as we grow. And, obviously owning a previous light company, Unique Lighting, which, obviously we built everything in America, assembled everything in America. The parts came from China. And, I had 37 to 50 guys, building fixtures every single day. So I know how to scale in that regard. Super efficient when it comes to lean manufacturing, super efficient when it comes to just-in-time ordering, right? So luckily I've got a tremendous amount of experience on how to scale on that end, and we are prepared.
Let me jump in. Like I said, what you just mentioned, I know a lot of the guys right now go to a supply house. Yes, your prices are getting raised. You know it. Those aren't American-made lights. And it's just from not planning, right? Because some of the guys say, well, how long does it take to order? And it says, it ships from California, but are you not booking at least 3 weeks out, 5 weeks out, where you still have time to put the order in, get it, check it? Because another thing too is Nate just, as of right now, right? He doesn't keep inventory in terms of lead lengths ready to rock and roll, because everything he does is custom and it's cheaper and competitive pricing, right? So if I order a Creator, one of Nate Lifetime Lighting Systems uplights, right? Nate might have a Creator there, but it's not wired, ready to go, right? Because I might order it at 45 feet on the lead length. I might order it at 5 feet. I might order it looped. So even with all that extra thing, when Nate just not keeping stock on the shelves, because everything you order can be custom, saving you wire time, all that jazz. So, but my thing is it doesn't take a super long time, and anyone who is just buying the product they need the day of the job, you need to sign up for the Illuminati Lounge Club. You need to get some training, because that is crazy.
So yeah, so one of the things when Unique Lighting was very successful, sold millions of fixtures, but as that manufacturer, I'm gonna say every other manufacturer, with the exclusivity of me and my new company, every single manufacturer, they shoved a method down your throat. At Unique Lighting, every fixture I had at 25 lead, I shoved the equalizer hub method down your throat. Most people give you a 2 foot, 3 foot, 4 foot lead. They're shoving a daisy chain method down your throat. So you're stuck as a lighting guy, whether it be an installer or designer, your designs are predicated upon what that manufacturer's offering you in their line. And they're very weak on their lines, every single company. So in this new line I wanted to come, I didn't want to shove things down your throat. I wanted to be able to teach you different methods to save you 50% in labor. So in order to save 50% in labor, I can't have shit on the shelf because I have too many choices. I have choices, like you said, man. I have choices in a 5 foot, 15, 30 foot straight lead, let alone a custom straight lead, loopable link that we've now invented with a new wiring method. I have 5 different types of different wires, colors, white, black, brown, and tan sizes. So underground direct burial wire to bring in through concrete, right? So knowing that I can save you 50% in labor, right? I have to custom make everything, right? So does that add a couple, 2 or 3 days to the order? Yes, it does. But like you said, you should schedule accordingly and you should be busy. But being able to not only ordering wire and different wire leads accordingly, we have, I don't even know how many fixtures we have between different colors, variations, brass fixtures, copper fixtures. Every fixture has 10, 12 different options. So it's just mind blowing when you can be a designer and sit there and you have a green fixture, a brown fixture, a copper fixture, a brass fixture, a weather brass composite. So the choice for me is so unbelievably bitchin'. To where, yeah, if there's one guy if there's 50% of the people that wanted to just go to a supply house and buy a China fixture, you're not my customer probably. That's okay, right? There's a lot of people out there that want to have choice and have the exclusivity of what we offer. So yeah, so everything is custom built. I'm not McDonald's where I got 15 Happy Meals sitting on the shelf.
What would you say are some? I mean, you moved to America a long time ago before these tariffs. Which is brilliant that you even had the foresight to even think that. But what are, if it was me, right? Let's take away the tariffs. What are the advantages of having an American made product other than now being cheaper? Like, what are some advantages of you being a manufacturer in America that would benefit someone like Matt and I?
So when you look at, that's really, really, really a good question, because we'll just take Harbor Freight. Everybody knows Harbor Freight in the United States, right? They make China crap tools and they have recalls all the time. So they just had a recall on their jack stand. So when you get China, they'll make 1 million of something, okay? 1 million. And they mass produce them, and then we in America are their QC department. So people end up fucking breaking their arms because the jack stand fails and the weld breaks or whatever the reason the jack stands were failing. We are their QC department. Then Harbor Freight, they have to recall 1 million jack stands. China ain't giving them money back for those jack stands, right? So there's so many costs that get incurred on the backside between China making faulty product. Now, that being said, is in America, if I was making those jack stands instead of ordering 1 million from China and massive container loads, I would not have to order 1 million. I could order 5,000 of them, and I could do just in time manufacturing, and then have a smaller warehouse, and then every week I'm getting 5,000 in just in time, right? But now I can, even if I let my customers QC it, right? And somebody got hurt, I only have 5,000 in bad product, not 900,000 more in bad product. So I can respond and react super fast to the market, right? Not only if there's a QC problem, but when I get a customer, it's happened to you guys, somebody's got some new idea and we're thinking, oh my God, that is such a great idea. I can sit there and develop it today, get my team assembled and make new product today. China has so many logistic problems, or anywhere when you're not dealing with in your own backyard. When I got to rely upon emails and go back and forth and time changes and language barriers and then getting stuff done, it takes a long time to get product developed. And then once you go through that process and you get the product developed, and then you wish, fuck me, I wish I would have made this change. Well, a lot of times you don't have generation 2 for a long time because you got to recoup the money from generation 1. Being locally sourced now and having my team in America, I can respond. I mean, I started making a new product last week. I made a decision, right, to make to make another product. On Friday, I met my team on Saturday. We fucking prototyped it on Monday. I'm getting a 3D drawing today. That is impossible to be done on an overseas market. In 4 fucking days, I'm going to have a 3D mold. That is, and then I can make changes. I mean, it's so phenomenal to be able to react, for me anyway, that I can just continue to develop badass shit on a very fast, speed to the market.
Matt and I, well, at least I've noticed. I mean, Matt and I have talked about it, right? I've known you now for 4 years or whatever it's been. You're constantly innovating and adding new stuff or updating mounts or small things to just make our lives easier and just cool bitching stuff constantly. I guess that goes to the advantage of being in America. So
yeah, I'll say this too, Nate. Turn that phone to silent, please. Working with Lifetime Lighting Systems, for instance, he has a load and lock system.
I needed a hold for silent. Okay, got it. Hello.
We can hear everything you're saying. So working with Lifetime Lighting Systems, he has this badass thing. It's a load and lock. He's had it for a long time. It makes putting stakes in the ground or whatever super easy. When I first started with him, he didn't have it for a tree mount, or a gutter mount, and I just constantly tell him this is the stupidest thing, right? Like, you have the most badass mount that we can switch fixtures, but now I have to switch to nothing. Why can't you make a load and lock on a tree mount? And Nate does that thing where he puts his hand over his face and shakes his head and was like, of course I should have that. And it, unlike other people who might just listen, just be able to get the
very soon
owner of the manufacturer on the phone, him to actually respond. Right now there is a tree mount that's a load and lock, super brilliant. And it's not like it took forever, right? If Nate likes the idea or the concept, or it's better than what he has now, or just something maybe further back in the line, he's able to push that forward and make it happen super fast, which really helps really my technicians in the field so that they're more efficient, which is awesome.
Yep, I agree. Nate, how easy is it in my mind, right? Well, you got, several big companies or suppliers. They've got, a lot of China inventory currently, whatever. Ultimately, either two things are going to happen, at least in my mind, right? What is the likelihood, one, that tariffs, from China settle down a short period of time and all this tariff stuff just kind of falls away for China, not the rest of the world? And then second question would be, well, if I'm buying lights from China and I'm selling them to everyone, I'm going to quickly look to move things in America. So if a company wants to now move to America, how quick can they do that? How long of a run do you have before everyone kind of catches up to what you've done? Just tariffs first. What are the odds the tariffs will be solved or get dropped considerably? First question. And the next question: how quick can someone pivot?
Well, I guess nobody knows but the State Department and our man Trump. I would tell you, I think it's going to be a long time, because this is not Apple that made a commitment of $300 billion and Trump laid off the tariffs in between the time that they start, purchasing land and building their plant, which he gave them relief. There's going to be no relief for landscape lighting products, because it's just not going to go down that type of same road. So I don't think the tariffs are going to come down anytime soon.
Oh,
hey,
okie dokie.
Time. What's that?
You just keep going in and out because you're.
I know. I get. I'm gonna. Just so you guys know, I'm gonna put up my Starlink, and I'm just gonna use Starlink from now on. I'm gonna permanently mount Starlink on my house. I'm sick of this shit. So probably some China dish. Yeah, I know, it's just ridiculous, man. I got to just get Starlink up. Anyway, so luckily I have 2 of them. So how to speed back to the United States? So I think I'm very experienced when it comes to manufacturing, maybe more than just about anybody out there, because between my last company and this company, 30 some years doing it, it's extremely difficult. I mean, it took me over 3 years, millions of dollars. And I think that what you don't realize, or maybe most people don't realize, there are very, very few manufacturers out there, very few. And really, the only true manufacturers out there are those 2 or 3 that I mentioned that in America. These other guys are relabelers. They're like bottles of ketchup. They just fly to China, go to Terminal C, right? Meet some Chinaman, and then buy the product and put their name on a box. They don't manufacture. None of these guys manufacture. They buy China shit and relabel. So for them to move to America, yeah, good luck, guys. Go ahead, Craig. Go ahead, everybody. I want to see you out there. Dan, Jim, go, buddy. Let's see how creative you can be and go to America. I'd say 0 chance for 99% of them.
Okay, definitely name dropping on some people you despise.
There's a lot of people that don't like me, and I don't like them.
So it would take millions and probably a year for someone to really move shop and start manufacturing in China. Would that be a true statement?
Well, you said move, you mean retool and move out of China. I think it would be years, yeah.
Years and millions.
I think it would be years, yeah. Yeah,
All right.
a long time. It's not easy. I mean, when you look at just, Matt's mentioned it several times, the creator. So just the creator alone has almost 10 separate specific molds. 10. 10. So, I mean, it's very difficult to go to a mold guy and make me 10 molds at one time. That's like impossible to do it in America. It's extremely difficult. 10 molds. Every mold's 250 to 50,000. So just that one fucking fixture is, $500,000 in molds. It's crazy. So you got to make 100 molds to make a family of fixtures. So logistically, it's what I mean. It took me 3 years. So it's difficult.
It is difficult. I'm sure that's what he's saying. It's difficult. Yeah. Matt and Shane, you are the greatest people I've ever met. This is
did I drop out?
Yeah. Oh, hey. No, we were just reading your lips.
Anyway, yeah, I got to get the Starlink set up. But yeah, so I don't know if I was okay on that answer or not.
Yep, I got it. So super difficult. It's going to take years. We got a long runway. Tariffs probably won't drop. Got it. What if this question just came to my head? So what if 5 small supply houses come, right? They buy lights from a couple of different people, whatever. They're all China now. And they come to you and they're like, hey, we want to offer some American-made product now. Would you sell to someone who is a wholesaler, reseller, whatever you might call them?
I pretty much, and hopefully there's distributors on here or not, I pretty much hate distributors with a passion.
I'm sure this answer is really good.
I know.
The world may never know.
Moving around, like the bandwidth would be a little better.
I don't know. I think we need a cheat sheet for Nate. He's got to silence his phone. He's got to turn off that. Like, this is a podcast.
And you got to turn everything off Wi-Fi. But Nate, I think if you move, when you move a lot, it gets overloaded.
This is when grandpas try to silence their phone. This could be a whole separate podcast where we can just watch.
I figured out it's my Apple Watch. I didn't turn the sound down on my Apple Watch. I figured that out too. The fucking iPad, the Apple Watch. This is the negative of Apple. I love Apple. The iPhone, the iPad, Nate, the Apple. What?
You know what you do? Me. Like me, right? There's this little button. You click "Do Not Disturb." It turns on all your devices.
Where do you do that at?
Any of your devices. You can click there's a "Do Not Disturb" from the settings menu. Like right now, I'm on "Do Not Disturb." My phone doesn't go off. My iPad doesn't go off. My computer doesn't go off. Nothing.
Matt said we ought to have an episode called "Grandpa's."
I'm doing it right now.
Right.
I'm sure I'm not the only person that didn't know that. I can't be. It's impossible.
So you hate distributors, and there's a small chance you would sell to distributors.
There's no chance I would sell to distributors. None. 0. I hate them. They're not value added. They do nothing. They're dumb. They don't want to get trained. They answer the wrong. They never answer questions truthfully. They never give you the right information. There's really 0 value added to a distributor, right? And then I would have to my goal as far as keeping my overhead low. That just adds 35%. They always want rebates. They want co-op. They always want all this other shit. So it could literally add 50 points, right, to my product for nothing. Right, because you got to remember these distributors, they don't buy product predicated upon what's good for the consumer, good for the customer. They buy product what's good for their bottom line, so they can raise their stock prices.
Sure. And I mean, we've seen it before, right? I mean, a distributor, and from a business sense, I do the same thing, right? If something goes wrong, no matter whose fault it is, I'm gonna blame the manufacturer because you're in front of me. I'm the guy. I can sell you a different product. Everything will just get blamed on the manufacturer.
Okay. Where's the do not disturb?
All right, I got one more question here, and this is probably an easier question, but my mind was thinking, so there's a lot of people out there that have been buying China fixtures for years, and this is probably more important specifically with integrated fixtures, right? So say they no longer buy them, they're too much, something kind of happens, and you can no longer buy those integrated fixtures. I mean, well, that would be a pain in the butt, right? Like all the fixtures that I've been buying over years, not me specifically, right? But if I'm a lighting guy that has integrated fixtures, well, those are probably no longer going to be available, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's just, a
Or we're
super
not going to
interesting.
buy them. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that's something I was talking to the guys during training about is
Yeah.
integrated fixtures or modular and all this stuff. Well, what if they go out of business for whatever reason? Like, let's just say it's the most amazing product in the world. 10 years down the road, they decided to retire, do whatever, things change. Now, those clients that you just served maybe a year or two ago with your product, you can't even replace those integrations, those modulars. And the beauty of lifetime lighting systems is the vast majority of the product is a drop-in. So if Nate tomorrow decides I'm going to take my money, I'm going to go to my mountain compound, and I'm never coming out again. Well, guess what? MR16s have been made for longer than probably Nate's been alive. I don't really know, but forever, and they're always going to be made. So even if that happened, an MR16 is still going to be made. So from my point of view as a business owner, right, that gives me extreme confidence in the future because I know no matter what happens, I'm always going to be able to get an MR16 somewhere.
Right. And some of my fixtures are integrated, right? Mariners and stuff like that. So
Sure.
But not 95%, not even 5%.
So for me, integrated has never really been my play because I've just, being an electrician for 50 some years, I've seen, systems go, whether it be control systems or Lutron systems or, light bulbs, they come and go, 10 years from now, even if those companies are still around, the tariffs don't have to affect anything. Chances of you having replacement lamps are probably slim and none. So I think that's now with the tariffs and all this magnitude.
Well, folks, thanks for listening. Nate Mullen saying something absolutely amazing right now. Only Chris hears it, though.
Yeah. All right.
I know. It's just so frustrating.
Answers my question either way. Matt, any other questions or any other kind of?
Yeah, let me ask it. And Nate, you're probably going to drop out because all your answers are dropping out right now. But let's just say I'm listening to this. And I'm a contractor who has never used lifetime lighting systems, or maybe I checked them out a year ago, 6 months ago, 2 years, whatever. I know we have a website. I say we because we obviously work hand in hand with Nate. Right? We don't have ownership in lifetime lighting or anything like that, but we want them to succeed. Right there, it'll be good for all of us. Can I just go on the website and buy? Should I contact? Is it Kenny in the office first? Should I contact? Maybe I should contact Captain Matt. Maybe I should contact Shane. Like, Nate, what would you do or recommend for a new contractor and he's heard the podcast or he's seen the things and now he's ready because he sees all these tariffs and he's ready to be like, maybe I should take another look at lifetime lighting systems. What's the best method for them? What would you recommend? Hop on a call with them or what?
Yeah, I think, a call, because you can go to the website. Obviously, you can order from the website, but our products is so 100% different than everybody.
I'm going to go and share my screen, Matt. Here.
And
share my screen. I think something happened to Nate there, but I'm going to go to share screen.
I'm going to put him back on.
Got it. I don't even know what's happening right now.
Nate, we're going to move on to him sharing his screen for the moment, just because you keep dropping off. Yes, sir.
Okay. So just kind of going to the lifetime lighting system.
In and out.
There's the brass nights, the copper nights, different composite colors. black nights, white nights. So you got a lot of different colors, a lot of different metal options. Yeah, it's just beautiful fixtures. All right.
So if I don't drop out again, let me see if I can respond to Matt's question, because it's an important question. So if you go back to my last company, getting back to how we respond to new companies or new customers as far as wanting them to have access to us, right? Yes, you can call the office for whatever reason. If no one answers the phone, because sometimes I don't like it going to a live, always get a hold of one of us and we can give you real answers in real time. That is so far superior than getting somebody on, right, a receptionist that doesn't even write down your correct answer correctly. So yes, I think going to the website, if you know the product, you can order it, or calling one of us three for sure, or the office.
All right, just in case that doesn't come out, I'm going to say kind of what Nate was saying is our lifetime lighting products are so unique compared to everything else on the market, from the lead lengths to the loopable leads. They're make you more efficient, but a conversation is definitely going to help you learn more. There's lots of great videos on the website. There's lots of great pictures on the website. You can get a general feel for it. But to give Shane, me, or Nate a call makes a lot of sense. Also, really recommend joining the Illuminati Lounge Club. It's $47 a month. It's nothing. It's a weekly call. You get to talk to, Nate as a manufacturer. You get me and Shane. This is how you get into that circle, because, again, we only want 50 to 100 badass guys. And I'm sure there's a bunch of you listening to this right now that want to be those guys. But we only want 50 to 100 of them. Because that's all we need to make this company what Nate has dreamed it to be. So hop on the phone. Go to lightingtradeschool.com, go to lifetimelghtingsystems.com, and let's chat and let's change and let's, get your clients the lighting they deserve, make your job easier, get you more efficient from this product, and make more money from using Lifetime Lighting Systems.
Well said.
Well said. Well said. All right. I'll have Starlink up next time we go, so this will never happen again. This is the worst ever.
This is bad. It's been bad for sure. All right. Close it
All right,
up.
world. Buy American made. And until next week.
Bye, guys.